Good evening and welcome to the first episode of RS Media Live Podcast. I'm joined tonight by Mike Heineman, Russ Vernon, Lee Charles, Sean Price, and Nicole Vesey. So good evening, everyone.
Good
How are you
evening.
doing?
Good evening.
Good evening.
You all right? How are you?
Yep, I'm all good,
thanks.
thanks. How is everyone else?
Yeah, fine, mate. Yeah, good.
All right,
Superb.
pretty much.
Which teams do you all follow then? Just let's go around and see who you all are.
So,
Arsenal.
quick introduction. I'm
Arsenal.
Bright and I support Plymouth and Middlesbrough.
Plymouth. Okay. Plymouth and Middlesbrough.
Yep.
How did that happen?
I've lived in the northeast. I've lived in the northeast, and I have family from Middlesbrough. So
Oh, that's a bit of a trip every weekend, isn't it? If you
Yeah,
Yep.
so with me, I'm Mike. I support Arsenal and Stevenage as well. Live in Stevenage.
Okay.
So yeah, both of those two teams. That's the two teams that I follow.
Okay.
I'm Russ. I'm a Leeds United fan, as you can probably tell from behind with me.
Leeds.
And I follow my hometown club, Rotherham United, as well. Do interviews with some of their players and management staff throughout the years, and I know the media team really, really well.
2 promotions then.
Yes.
2 promotions. Oh, we really enjoyed our trip to Rotherham. I don't know if you've watched our James our review of our away days review. Was Rotherham was a hard one for us. We didn't enjoy it. We didn't enjoy it. Not at all.
And we got
Stewards
Sean.
are terrible.
I'm Sean Price, and I support Arsenal. Lifelong Arsenal fan.
Oh, right, okay.
And then we've got Nicole.
Hi, I follow Derby and Liverpool. Derby's hometown, Liverpool's family's team.
Where are you, Nicole? What's happened to you? Is there a problem with the camera?
I don't come on camera.
Yeah,
everyone who follows RS Media knows.
No, she's only that one. Yeah.
And
yeah.
tell us about yourself, Lee.
So about me, I'm a Blackpool fan. Started a YouTube channel rather accidentally, to be honest, on Blackpool Football Club. Blackpool Football Club, as you know, all the fans were not a penny more for 5 years in a protest against the Oystons. And we finally got them out, or the minority shareholder got them out, as long as the fans, as well as the fans protest, but they went to court and got him out. And they were asking for volunteers to go and clean the seats down at Bloomfield Road because nobody had been sat in them for 5 years, and they were covered in pigeon poo. There was thousands of them. It was a hell of a job, and I went down and made a little video about it, put it on YouTube, and within a couple of days, I had a message from the One Show and the EFL, Quest HD show. Could they use my footage? I got interviewed by the One Show on the comedy carpet in Blackpool before we all marched back on the homecoming day. And where'd you go from there, kind of thing? Started off without being on sort of TV and being interviewed, and I've become a football vlogger, which was never the idea. Actually, I was more doing it for DJing at first. So,
I bet all the Blackpool fans are happy that they got rid of the worst owners in the EFL history. To be honest,
well, actually, I'm not too sure about that now. I'm starting to worry about this Wigan situation, because this guy just sounds unbelievably bad. I mean, the Oystons were
Macclesfield are relegated now as well, but their owner was a big one as well.
And
yeah, the Oystons did a lot of bad, but they also did some good along the way. It wasn't all horrendous, but they were despised after the Premier League very much because they just took all the money, didn't they? And they didn't reinvest it, and we ended up going down. But this guy for Wigan, oh my days,
I mean, to be fair, right? They were staying up at some point, yeah, and then they got the 12-point deduction, which was really? I was like, couldn't you just not help them out?
I know. No, but it's getting worse. I don't know if you've been following it, but he's now selling off the training ground, and he's also put the ground up for the stadium up for sale, but he won't allow it to be sold to anybody who's interested in football. It's just got to go to property development, so he wants the stadium rid of as well. So he's just completely destroying the club, which is just. I can't believe what I keep reading. So hopefully something will turn on it. But this guy just sounds as bad as you could possibly get. It's incredible. But I don't know how the EFL allow these people in. Just
Yeah, they've
I
surely
don't
got to do some background checks on them and stuff like that. Yeah.
yeah, you think
And
Didn't the same-
it makes no sense.
Didn't the same thing happen to
Person's
Portsmouth?
test as
Didn't
well.
they? They had two
Yeah.
cocky donors as well, didn't they? A
Yeah.
family, and
Really
they
good
look
for
at where they are.
And you've just got to look at Bury for an example as well. Wigan could end up following suit, and maybe Charlton as well. Charlton got good news about possible takeover last
Charlton
night as
seem in
well.
trouble, don't they? What happened with Charlton? Because I know they were really in trouble, weren't they? People saying they could be the next Bury to go. So
We looks like
Yes.
Charlton's got to buy finally take over that.
The finally got to
through.
take over.
Looks like it could end up going through now. Which
Right, okay.
confirmed Jesse during their game last night against
Well,
Wimbledon.
Leeds have had the fair share of bad owners, haven't they?
Yeah, Massimo.
What, Ken Bates?
Ken Bates,
Number one.
and then Massimo Cellino as well.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Try
He was
attacking
it now.
McDermott. Yeah, right. With Cellino, try attacking Brian McDermott when he weren't even in charge of the club.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy that one. It was mad.
Sacked him and then got reinstated next day during the we're beating Huddersfield 5-0 at the time under his assistant who took charge on that day.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a crazy one with Leeds, though, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was
So-
Mike, yeah, to be fair.
So
Unbelievable.
obviously, that's obvious our quick introduction and a little
Yeah.
rambling on for a good few minutes there. So the first game that we're going to talk about is the Community Shield game between Arsenal and Liverpool, which finished Arsenal 1, Liverpool 1, and it went straight to a penalty shootout with Arsenal winning 5-4 on penalties. The goal scorers for Arsenal were Aubameyang and Minamino in the game. So what's your thoughts on this, Mike?
I thought we played well. I thought we had a really good game, actually, as we have done in the later sort of end of that season against the big boys. We won the FA Cup as well. We were able to beat Chelsea and Man City along the way there. And, we beat Liverpool in the league campaign as well at the end of that, although they'd already won the title by that point by quite a long margin, quite a convincing margin. But I thought we actually played really well. We played some good football. And if you look at the goal that we scored, we broke Liverpool's press and, we counted on them and were able to go and score with that Aubameyang goal. And that was a really well-taken finish. Yes, they came back into it and were stronger after that in the second half and, probably rightly deserved their equaliser. But all the penalties were called as you like, really. And, it's just great to get that winning mentality as early as you can.
Yep. So we'll ask you the same question there, Sean.
We were dogged from the start, really. Like, we knew what game plan Arteta sort of set us out to do. Like, we weren't going to attack Liverpool from the start because they would have scored many goals. But we just sort of went, okay, break us down if you can, sort of thing. I mean, I didn't see Salah do anything. I didn't see Mane do anything. I certainly didn't see Firmino do anything.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, to go to say, we didn't even play a full preseason game yet. You know what I mean? Because all the players weren't coming back from holiday yet, and to beat them is bittersweet, if you know what I mean. Because Arteta's changing our mentality. People need to start believing and backing the guy.
Oh, I agree with that as well. And if you look at that lineup as well, we were without the likes of Pepe and Lacazette and Willian, and there was quite a few players in that squad. El Neni came in, for example, who didn't even feature at all for the club last season. He was out on loan, so he was kind of the forgotten man, and he come in and put in a good shift, didn't he?
Yes, he did. El Neni, the real Egyptian king. Sorry, Nicole.
So we'll go to Nicole on her version of it.
No offense taken. I thought it. I saw a lot of people say that we deserved to lose. Well, I don't think we did. It's just not that Arsenal deserved to lose either. I thought it was a pretty even match, to be fair. It came down to penalties. Someone's got to lose, haven't they? And unfortunately, Brewster tried something that didn't quite work because, the keeper didn't even save it. It hit the crossbar, but someone's got to lose. And I think he regrets it, and I think he'll think on it. I thought it was an even match and fair play to Arsenal, to be fair.
And I will say about Jurgen Klopp as well, he showed his class after that, getting the boys to stay behind and to applaud Arsenal and to watch them lift the trophy and stuff. And I'm sure he had a few words and wanted to use that as motivation to push on for better things with Liverpool as well. So he's a very humble and very class man in that aspect as well with Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, definitely.
And we'll go to you next, Russ.
I thought it was a very good game, actually. I thought Arsenal looked in control for most of it. And Liverpool had a goal disallowed early on through Virgil van Dijk's offside goal, which I thought was definitely offside. But Arsenal defended really, really well. Aubameyang took his goal well. I couldn't see Liverpool breaking through. I've seen the majority of Liverpool's pre-season prior to that game. And with Mane, Firmino and Salah up front, the main three, then in the pre-season games, they struggled to break down oppositions like Stuttgart in games like that in the past, where in pre-season they did same with Arsenal, and when they fetched on the youngsters like Sir Brewster, Jones, that's when they managed to show the creativity to break through and get past the players in Arsenal's defence and create the chances which then give them the goals. So I think that was they play better when the youngsters come on. And
but then again, you can look at Arsenal on our side of it. We brought on Reece Nelson and who else came on? Joe Willock as well. And Willock could have probably scored at the end to give us that 2-1 at the end of the normal 90 minutes as well.
Yeah, you are there, Mike. You could have done, but Liverpool held firm towards the end as well to make sure that goal didn't go in at the end, to take it to penalties and then to lottery. And then when Brewster missed his penalty by hitting the crossbar, Cedric, who's a right back by trade, just showed him how penalties should be taken by just simply putting it into the back of the net.
Yeah, David Luiz as well. David Luiz took it really well. Really good performance from David Luiz on that day. And he took that penalty away really well. We got through 90 minutes, and he only trained one day beforehand. He trained on the Friday, and that was the only time he trained in pre-season.
Yeah, and also Maitland Niles showed what he could do in that game. I thought he had a very good game and took his penalty well, considering a move's been hanging over his head, potentially going to Wolves.
Right. And Lee, did you watch this game?
I just saw bits of it. I mean, I know, I saw the stats of it. Liverpool had like 60% possession, didn't they, in that game? But it was pretty even, Stevens, really. It's just unfortunate, I suppose, for the Liverpool youngster. Just hope he's not, penalties are hard. It was Ryan Brewster, was it? Something his name. He came on.
Yeah, Ryan Brewster.
96 minutes subbed in, and then he was the only one to miss. So, as a young kid, it's daunting, isn't it? You wouldn't like to be taking a penalty at Wembley. You just, you come on as a late sub. So, I feel a bit sorry for him, but, Liverpool won lots and they still look a very good side, don't they? What do you think? Do you think they looked as good as they were finishing last season, would you say? Still looked a pretty decent.
I still think they're a good side. I still think they'll be up there challenging for the title and stuff as well. They might not win it. You don't know what's going to happen with Man City and stuff yet as well. When Chelsea is strengthened really well.
Yeah, absolutely. But from what I saw, it was. But it's just a lottery. I mean, you get to penalties. I hate penalties. Blackpool went out on penalties on Saturday in the Carabao Cup against Stoke.
Yeah, so did Stevenage as well. I was watching that one previously, and then
we never win penalty shootout.
Came on, and Stevenage lost their penalty shootout as well. So it was kind of a bit of a 50-50 day on penalties, that one for me.
Yeah. I think Blackpool have only ever won one penalty shootout, and all the time I've been watching them, they just won once at Wembley when they got promoted against. They lost against Torquay, and then we got promoted the next year. It was a one-time against Scunthorpe. Yeah, it was Scunthorpe at Wembley, and I think that's the only time I've ever seen Blackpool win a penalty shootout. Other than that, we normally lose. So I don't like them. They're not my favourite. They're not my favourite way to decide a football game in England as well. It's haunted by it, aren't we? Most of the time.
Ryan Brewster as well. I was just going to say that was the only touch of the ball he had as well. So it's not exactly great for him, is it?
Well, to be honest with you, the pressure of taking a penalty though is very hard. You've got to think where am I going to put this? Where the keeper's going to go? and then
Yeah.
you got to select like if you're going to put it in the corner, should I put it on the left hand side or the right hand side? Should I top bin it, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To do that and focus at the same time is a lot of pressure, because I know I play in goal, so like I've had many penalties against me, and 9 times out of 10 I'll probably save them, but 9 times out of 10 I'll probably miss them as well.
Wow, that's a good record. Say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it is a good record. It is.
Sort of like I'm just giving it a stat. You know what I mean? Like 9 times out of 10, the person normally scores them as well. You know what I mean?
So
how's that
we're
work?
now going into the first proper segment. So we'll go on to the Carabao Cup.
Oh,
here we go. This one, yeah, the competition we don't want to talk about because we both lost on penalties.
So
nobody cares really, do they? To be honest, does anybody really care about this cup? It's the most despised cup in the whole. Well, nobody's interested in the final. Even if nobody's interested in it. No one would be out of it, anyways.
No one would be interested in it unless their team wins it, and then they're interested in it.
Yes,
that's how they say. That's how they see it. Like I've heard people go, "Oh, it's just a Mickey Mouse Cup and all this and all." I got a great idea. Why don't we just take the Premier League clubs out of it and put non-league teams in it? It make it work better.
Well, the non-league clubs survive on the FA Cup. You know, we went on Friday. We went to film. We were invited to go and film at Trafford FC.
Okay, right.
It was friendly, so I've actually got a video coming up on my YouTube channel soon. It was more like a documentary we did on it, and it was fabulous, absolutely fabulous. We were treated so lovely. They were so friendly. They were so welcoming. You know, they actually welcomed us in to film the game and everything. You know, whereas normally it's not quite that way. You know, we went to Rotherham. You know, they didn't like us filming. Even I was trying to film the disabled toilets and just show people how wonderful they were, and they weren't having any of it, so they were quite miserable there. But it was so nice and so welcoming at non-league, and they really do, you know, need that FA Cup money. It's desperate for them, and at the moment, you know, they've been 5 months without revenue, and a lot of them are really struggling. So if they could get another cup, I'm sure they would love it, really. Because they have to go through a hell of a lot of qualifying rounds just to get into the first round. It's absolutely ridiculous. 7 games, I think, before they get into the first round. Wow. You know, you'd win the FA Cup, wouldn't you, if you were like a normal team? 7 games in the FA Cup, it's yours. So they've got to do 7 before they even get in the first round. So it's an incredible feat for these non-league clubs, but it brings them money in, you know, and that's it. Isn't it?
Well, Lincoln and Sutton are great examples of it. Look at the cup run they had, like a couple years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
So
they both played at Arsenal, didn't they? Arsenal knocked them both out.
So like clubs like that can set an example for other teams and go, do you know what? We can actually go further than we actually are.
Yeah. Well, it's a dream of every non-league club to do that. It's the dream, isn't it? But only a few can get through. You know, they've got to get through so many rounds to get there. It's unbelievable, but it's mad. It's like the FA Cup is almost dismissed now as a competition. You know, even the FA Cup, you know, to a certain extent, the big clubs are just fielding young teams, aren't they, and you know, and putting out the youth and everything, and they don't take it seriously till right to the end. Whereas, you know, for non-league clubs, it's so vital, and they've actually halved the prize money for them this year, haven't they? Which I thought was
that's right, they have,
a bit sad, really. You know, I'm sure the money they pay to non-league clubs is nothing compared to the billions that get spent, and they need that money. And I just think it's a shame, really, that they've done that. I don't see what the gain is to that, really. I thought, but anyway, you know, I agree. It's a good idea.
Most of them usually go on and play Arsenal as well. We spoke about Sutton and Lincoln. Farnborough back in the day was another one as well.
Oh my God, you just brought up Farnborough United. Oh my days, those were the days. No, that was a good day. We won 7-0, but you know,
Farnborough 5-1, I think it was.
5-1. Well, fair play to Farnborough for turning up, and you know, we even played Plymouth a few years back as well. You know what I mean, in one of the cups as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Last season,
Right. So we'll talk about this EFL Cup. So results from Saturday, 29th of August was Blackburn 3, Doncaster 2, Preston 4, Mansfield 0, Stevenage 3, Portsmouth 3, and obviously Stoke 0, Blackpool 0, but both Stevenage and Blackpool lost out on penalties. Stevenage lost out on penalties
It's 3-1, wasn't it, I think.
3-1, and Blackpool lost out on penalties 5-4.
Yeah.
So Mike, you can take the centre stage on Stevenage because you watched that game.
Yeah, I watched the majority of it. I thought we actually played really well, considering how last season went. You know, the fact we were right down rock bottom of the league and really struggling. I think this was actually quite an encouraging performance in a number of aspects. Going 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes as well. That's always good to, get the early goals. And then Portsmouth got one back, and Ronan Curtis, that was a good finish as well. And then captain Scott Cuthbert made it 3-1 and got that third goal there, sorry, I should say. And then in the second half, they came back and, there was 3-2 by that point, actually, because they got the penalty right at the end of the first half as well. And John Marquis equalised for Portsmouth in the 51st minute there. So it's, it's quite an interesting one because last season, Stevenage, as I said, finished rock bottom of the league, could have easily been relegated, got the reprieve and are quite fortunate to still be in the Football League with what happened with Macclesfield and things like that. And it's a good workout. Yes, we've gone out and it's the Portsmouth sub-keeper, in fact, who came on at half-time, who was a hero that day, saved 3 of the penalties, saved from Ben Coker, from Danny Newton, and I can't remember who the third one was from. I'm trying to remember now. Charlie Carter. Oh, sorry, Elliot Osborne, yeah. That's right. So, he made those saves there. And in the Young scored our penalty. He's the only one that scored out of the lot for us. But I think we'll do better this season. And even to show that we can compete against a team like that, yes, we've gone 2-0 up and let them get back into it and gone 3-1 up and then done the same again. But it's very early days. And I think we'll get a lot more than 3 wins this season. I can say that. And I don't see us being near the bottom of the league again. I think we've changed enough. We've strengthened enough. We've got a good mix of youth and experience in there now to be challenging more up at the right end of the division.
And we'll go to Lee on his thoughts on Stoke v Blackpool.
Well, there's a pretty much a bit of a very good feel factor down at Blackpool this season. We've made some good signings. We've got this Neil Critchley, who was he's from Liverpool and he was a head of the Liverpool Academy under 23s. He'd been there about 8 years. He'd gone from under 18s to under 23s. He's very well respected at Liverpool, and he's bringing in some players, and he's starting to play football in that sort of Liverpool style, which compared to what we had with Simon Grayson last year is absolutely wonderful. So we're all pretty enthusiastic, and we actually played very, very well against Stoke, but Stoke just defended everything that we threw at them, really. They were very, very good in defence, and so we lost on penalties. But Jane and I were discussing it after, and we said basically, the thing to take from the match was we played very well, but we went out on penalties. So we're not all that bothered really whether we went through or not. But the performance was good, and that's probably good enough.
See, that's very much like Stevenage as well. I'm sure Alex Ravel probably said the same, or very similar to the boys the next day or on Monday in training. He probably said, we've got enough about us here. You can see we can score goals. Yeah, we've got a bit to work on defensively, but at the end of the day, that will come.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
and
if you perform well, it's good for you. But
you signed Jerry Yates as well. So
who Blackpool have? Yeah, we have. He looks okay. We've signed this lad called CJ Hamilton as well. Who's he's so fast. He really is electric. So he's going to be. We've signed a lot of youth, and we look pretty good, to be honest. So we're all predicting promotion this year in Blackpool. So we're very enthusiastic. But I'm always enthusiastic. You have to be, don't you? You're a football fan. You have to believe every year that you're going to go up, and that's just how it is, isn't it? You end up kicking the cat after a game, but normally, but yeah, we're all sort of, we all think we're going to get promotion, and that's hopefully how it's going to be. We shall see.
So, anyone else got any thoughts on them games?
Well, Blackburn for the Blackburn to win 3-2 was a pretty much entertaining game with Doncaster to beat 3-2, and it's like you always like to see a 5-goal thriller between two good clubs. So it's like and then Adam Armstrong scored the winner in the penalty. I think he scored the penalty, didn't he? He scored the penalty to win the game.
Adam Armstrong scored, the penalty in the 81st.
Yeah. So basically, that's what I mean. I always like to see teams to go a 5-goal thriller and see who wins out of that one.
As well. They went 1-0 up, didn't they? And then they went to 2-1 to Doncaster, and then they came back and won that 3-2 right towards the end. So good comeback that for Blackburn, and really, good win. They're a decent side as well. I think they'll do well, Blackburn, this year. And long gone are the days when they won the Premier League, but it'd be nice to see them, at least push on towards that a little bit and get a promotion under their belt.
And to be honest, with me, I thought Stevenage were unfortunate. I mean, when I saw this game, I was like, 2-1. Am I seeing things? And then it went 3-1.
Yeah.
And then it went 3-1 Stevenage, and I was like, am I seeing things? So I had to check Twitter, which is where you use most of the useful scores.
Mm-hmm.
And it was right. And I was just like, let's look at Portsmouth's team. And
Strong.
to be honest,
it was strong.
It was apart from the goalkeeper, it was a pretty strong team.
Yeah.
So I was just like, maybe Stevenage have come to fortune. And obviously after getting their reprieve from last season, and only winning 3 games, I thought, well, maybe this is the turnaround for Stevenage.
And we go to Barrow as well, first game of the season. So that's a challenge in itself, a very tricky one there. And, we've got experience of playing Barrow in the lower leagues, in the National League, the conference as well. The last time we played Barrow was in the FA Trophy final, the year that we won promotion. And we lost that one, and we could have had a double. So it might be a little bit of revenge there, possibly as well.
Yeah, they did well last year, Barrow, didn't they? We went down. Blackpool played Barrow last season, pre-season. We went to Barrow, and Ian Evett was a manager then, and he was a former Blackpool player. And when my dad died, just before he died, he came to visit my dad in the hospital. There was a big article on some article I'd written on a fans forum, and they came to see my dad. And so I have a lot of respect for Ian. So I went to interview him at Barrow and brought him luck, I think. I don't know. He did really well. They were playing in that Barrow-Salona, didn't they say?
That's right. Yeah,
Barrow-Salona.
Barrow-Salona. But of course, he's gone to Bolton, which has soiled his reputation with Blackpool fans, because obviously we don't like Bolton. It's a local rival. So, but Bolton seems to be signing up quite a lot of ex-Blackpool players. But that's don't know how Barrow are going to go on this season, obviously without Evett.
So,
but the manager there is who's the manager they got there? That's just gone completely. I mean,
Barrow.
Let's have a look. I'm trying to remember his name now. What was his name?
He was with Blackpool. David Dunn.
Yes,
David
of
Dunn.
course. Yeah,
David Dunn. Well, he took over. He was part of the coaching staff at Blackpool, and when we sacked Simon Grayson, he took over for a few games. And to his credit, he did all right. To be honest, he was all right. So I wish him well at Barrow. I hope he does okay. But it's a bit of a long journey for you, isn't it, from Stevenage up to Barrow? It's like the back of beyond.
Well, it's just as long as Plymouth to Carlisle. But lucky enough, we don't have to do that this season.
Yeah. It's a long way, but it's a long way for Barrow once you get off the motorway. It's one of those
windy
traveling
roads.
Traveling all the way through like the start of the Lake District. It's quite.
It doesn't matter where you go. If you win, it's all right. If you lose, it's a nightmare.
Well, that's absolutely.
Yeah. So obviously, we're going to move into the fixtures of the EFL Cup from that start on Friday, the 4th of September. Through to Sunday, the 6th of September. So we've got Middlesbrough v Shrewsbury, Burton Albion versus Accrington Stanley. Who are they? That's obvious. Yeah. That's on Friday.
Yeah.
Apparently, they signed a few players from Newcastle on loan, Aki, and I talked to a Newcastle vlogger called Toonami TV. You got a little called Sharky, good friend of our show, and he was saying these lads they've got a pretty decent Accrington Stanley, so they said watch out for them.
Okay.
So we'll be doing.
Saturday, it's Derby versus Barrow, which is the live game on Sky Sports.
Yeah, big game. Really big game, that one, yeah.
Plymouth
Oh.
Argyle versus QPR.
Ooh.
Crawley.
Fancy Plymouth on that one, to be honest.
Yeah, I do as well. I think QPR, they've got a good squad that they're getting together. Ilias Chair's a big part of that, who was on loan at Stevenage 2 seasons ago now. And they've got Joe Lumley, who was at Stevenage as well, and Luke Amos as well, who was also on the books at the club down here. But no, I think that could be
Ryan Hardy as well, haven't you, on loan from Blackpool? You love him, don't you?
Yes, I
You
do.
really like him, and he never really got a chance. He's only played about 3 games for Blackpool, and we quite like the look of him. But Simon
And he
Grayson
scored in one of them as well, if I remember. But
came off the bench for you lot, scored loads of goals, didn't he?
Yeah.
Super sub.
see, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer-esque.
Yeah.
So the next one's Crawley versus Millwall.
Yeah, that could be a tasty game as well. 2 sides there, yeah.
That's going to be a right game, that is.
Gillingham, Southend.
Gillingham,
Look at that for a derby. Yeah.
Bristol City, Exeter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Walsall versus Sheffield Wednesday. All of these are prior, not even 3 o'clock kickoffs. And then
What's happened with Wednesday? They've been let off, haven't they? The EFL have let them off or
That's
something,
what they did. Yeah,
which
they did.
sounded a load of
Yeah, man,
garbage.
They got a 12-point deduction.
Oh, they've been given a 12-point deduction. I thought
Yeah, they have. Yeah, no, they have been given a 12-point deduction this season. They started on -12.
I thought they got away with it. I thought something.
No, they didn't. Derby did. Derby did. But Sheffield Wednesday
yeah,
did
it's
not.
Derby it's Derby that's got away with it, isn't it? Which is an odd one. Again, none of it makes any sense to me with this EFL. I can't. Just seems to be one rule for one and one rule for the other.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's take Macclesfield for example as well. Yes, I'm pleased that we got the reprieve at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But Macclesfield, they've been deducted more points than I don't remember. Teams being deducted this many points in the past.
No, it's incredible. But
I have when
not paying wages.
I remember when I think when Southampton got deducted for -30. I think at one stage. I'm not sure when that was.
But it was, they really wanted to send Macclesfield down there. You can see that because they just kept deducting them points after points after points. And I think they must have been deducted probably 30, 40 odd points by the whole end of the season, nearly short, like probably something like that, 30 points or so.
So
this comment from Kerry Roach.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to hate football.
That's my mum.
We're going to be talking about football, Kerry. So
She's got to support me, and
that's
she
great.
in
I
her
love
son.
that comment. Top one.
The Walsall game against Wednesday is also on.
So obviously
Derby v
we're
Barrow
moving on to the 3 o'clock games. It's
Yeah.
Walsall v Nottingham Forest, Birmingham City versus Cambridge.
Barnsley Forest, isn't it?
Barnsley Forest, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Barnsley Forest, right? No, Walsall Forest.
Walsall
Walsall
Sheffield Wednesday.
on
Yes,
Sky.
Barnsley. That's a good
Barnsley,
game. That's a
Nottingham
good game,
Forest.
isn't it? That one.
Birmingham,
Barnsley looked better. You know, they finished
It is, yeah.
quite well, didn't they, last season? Yeah, I think they'll be a force. And
Strong.
Forest only just missed out on the playoffs, didn't they? Well, they missed out in the playoffs, should I say, once again.
Yeah.
Could be. Don't know how to call that one, to be honest.
Birmingham City versus Cambridge, Bolton versus Bradford, Crewe versus Lincoln, Fleetwood versus Wigan, Forest Green versus Leyton Orient, Grimsby versus Morecambe,
Yeah, the old League Two game there, yeah.
Ipswich versus Bristol Rovers, Luton versus Norwich,
That could be an upset, possibly. I know they're in the same division now, but that could still be an upset as well. I think Luton could do them.
MK Dons v Coventry, Newport v Swansea, Northampton versus Cardiff, Oldham versus Carlisle,
Yeah, another old League Two, yeah.
Oxford versus Wimbledon, Peterborough versus Cheltenham, Reading versus Colchester, Rochdale versus Huddersfield, Salford v Rotherham, Scunthorpe v Port Vale, Sunderland v Hull, Swindon v Charlton, and Tranmere playing Harrogate.
Yeah, and Brentford Wickham at the end as well, yeah.
Well, that's That's another strange
That's on
game.
the
It's
Sunday,
Sunderland
that one,
versus
Mike.
Hull. Sunderland versus Hull. I mean, they're both teams, stuck in. Well, Hull got relegated. They seem a team in a real mess there. Again, I was going on their fans forums, and they're really unhappy with the owners and stuff. Sunderland are looking. I mean, they are the bookies' favourites, but talking to Newcastle fans and people around there, they say Sunderland are in a bit of mess. So. And they've been stuck in this League One for a few years now, haven't they? Sunderland, a massive club. So that's two big clubs. It's normally that you would expect that to be a championship game, wouldn't you? At least.
And
Yeah,
then obviously the Sunday game is the Brentford versus Wickham game as well. So
that's Sunday. Okay, all right.
You got some great fixtures there coming already. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know who's going to win what and which team is going to cause. Like, I'm backing on Mike saying that Luton's going to cause an upset against Norwich. To be honest,
I think they could beat them. I think you can look at Derby and Barrow. That's going to be a really interesting tie there with Barrow's first time in the competition. See how they get on. And if they
Harrogate as well, Mike.
Yeah, exactly.
Harrogate.
Yeah, see how both of those two sides can get on. Be good to see if one of them gets an upset, maybe. Yeah.
Well, and Wayne Rooney playing against a team that just come up from non-league, so
that's going to be interesting.
It's going to be.
That's if Rooney is fit and available, because he missed yesterday's game with Sheffield United, Derby's friendly match with Sheffield United through injury. Rooney.
Yeah.
So it depends on if he's fit and available for the match this weekend, whether he takes part or he may just do a coaching part and rest for the opening league game week after.
Maybe they may have rested him yesterday due to the Carabao Cup starting.
Yeah.
Or they might have just said that he's injured and resting him for next week's first game of the season.
Yeah, they can do that, man, and leave him for first game of the season. And with Salford game right against Rotherham, Salford have got a player who used to be on loan with Rotherham in their ranks, in Richie Towell, who had a very good loan spell with Rotherham. Rotherham tried to sign him back, but he went to Salford they offered him now more money than they could, and they've been sending quite a lot of players with offering them big wages, and I can understand why, with the likes of Nicky Paul Scholes, Scarry and Phil Neville behind him, and David Beckham were behind him for 1 point until he set up into Miami in America. So I can see why Tal probably went there, and he'll probably try and prove a point. To what I'm saying, they should have got him permanently before Salford did, and he may want to try and get one over on his former club and help Salford get through. Something which he tried doing when they played Leeds last season, but obviously Leeds class shown through in that game, and rather than 6 editions in so far, can show things happening quite well. They've seen them sign a goalkeeper today, so.
So who's that they've just signed then? The goalkeeper.
Victor Johansson, Sweden international. He used to be a Leicester. His contract at Leicester just expired. He was the under-23 goalkeeper at Leicester. He's on a 2-year deal. It's going to be number 2 to Jamal Blackman, with Lewis Price being the third choice keeper at Rotherham United this coming season. So, Brad, if you're still in here and you've seen much of him from the under-23s, what would you say sort of goalkeeper is he, mate? And let us know, and I'll pass it on to some of the Rotherham there, so I know, and some of the media team that I know Rotherham like, they have Rotherham advertiser as well, see what to let him know a bit about him. But from his interview today, sounds a very good goalkeeper. And he said he spoke to Dan Everson, who was at Rotherham last season from Leicester, and he spoke highly of Rotherham, and that part persuaded him to join the Millers this season. He said Warrington's a very good goalkeeping coach. Andy Warrington, the ex-Rotherham goalkeeper there, who used to be at Lincoln in the goalkeeping department, coaching department, that is.
Okay. I was just going to say there, has anyone got anything that they can see as a potential upset from this? Out of these coming fixtures over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Well, like you said, I think Luton could cause one over against Norwich. You know what I mean? Norwich have just got relegated, and they could be like, Luton could be like, hey, we can actually take these. You know what I mean? So like Luton will be like buzzing, going, yeah, we could play them, like, but they're looking forward to playing Watford. You know what I mean? Luton.
That's right. Yeah. What about
Also
some of the
good
other
look.
ties as well? Plymouth and QPR, something like that.
Go on,
Mate,
Plymouth.
also, Mike,
Fancy
Mike,
Plymouth. I fancy
Newport.
Plymouth.
Newport against Swansea. Newport could cause a shock. I know they did well last season. I know Swansea did well last season in their league. Newport may want to try and cause an upset, try and get through to round two, play some of the Premier League sides who are not in Europe next season, and try and get one of the Premier League sides who are going to be in European competitions round after. So they might want to try and get through and knock Championship club out and try and knock a couple of Premier League sides out, depending on who they draw in next round, should they get through. So I think that could be one.
Yeah, I was just going to
Having
say,
looked
Cambridge at Birmingham, anyone? Anyone fancy that?
Could happen, Mike, but Birmingham
Fancy
side
Birmingham
are
on that
inflated.
one.
I think Birmingham just retired the 22 shirt, which is what? Hang on a minute, why? You know what I mean? What the hell? Again, another club that has had, I think, dodgy owners or something like that. It's Birmingham. So
They've
Yeah,
now
yeah.
just signed George Friend and Adam Clayton, who have had their contracts expired from Middlesbrough. So I think Birmingham are going to be going for it.
Yeah.
And I talk Grant could fetch those to win to Middlesbrough as well, didn't he? Right?
No,
He worked with them both at
he worked well
Middlesbrough.
with them.
And they worked very well together, and he will know his system that he wants to play, so they can that's probably why he signed him up, so he can fit into his, because he knows those two can fit into his style and system that he wants to play next season. So maybe he's looking to try and fetch a few players who he worked with in Middlesbrough to Birmingham and the St Andrews Trillium Trophy Stadium, which is now officially titled as, where Coventry City will also be playing their home games this season as well.
This is another thing. I honestly see a shock happening on Friday night. Well, Friday evening. I think Shrewsbury are going to do Borough. I hate to say it.
You've got a feeling that they might be able to get a result then, yeah?
I think Shrewsbury have strengthened Middlesbrough. Neil Warnock's brought in just the one signing at the moment. And
Clint Tillington, right?
no, Grant Hall.
Yeah, Grant Hall. And I weren't sure, I couldn't remember whether Clint Hill or Grant Hall, because I know they're both central defenders and they both work similar to, they're very similar players, you see, so I weren't sure which one he was. I can't remember which one he was, to be honest, mate.
So
I was just going to say as well, just looking at this one, Newport and Swansea. Newport have, caused a few cup upsets in the past. Do you think they could do it again?
I think they could. I think they could. You know what I mean? Don't disrespect Newport. I mean, they've knocked out like Leeds United. You know what I mean? At home in the FA Cup. So you never know. You never know with teams. You know what I mean? They could be up for us and go. Do you know what, lads? Right, we can do this. We can absolutely knock anyone out if we can believe on the day.
Leicester was the main one. Yeah.
I mean,
Leicester as well a few seasons ago. Yeah.
If you set up. For me, if you set up a team to believe that they can win, then obviously they're going to win, aren't they? You know what I mean? Like, just show no fear against them.
Yeah, no, I agree there, Sean. To be fair, mate, I agree with what you're saying. And we had Saiz at that point when we knocked out Leeds, and he got sent off for spitting towards the end, sent off by Mike Dean, and it was later confirmed why he got sent off. Because originally at the time, everyone was thinking, why is he being sent off here? What's he done? Because no one saw it, and the cameras didn't pick it up either. And then the Filet got the point from the referee afterwards. Had a word with the referee afterwards, and that's when he told the referee. The referee told him why he got sent off, so then he put it out so everyone knew why he was sent off before speaking to Thomas Christensen about the incident as well, which then he later apologised for.
All right, fair enough. Do you want to move on, right, for the leasing.com games? You want to get into some of them?
Yeah, we'll move on into the leasing.com trophy games, which are happening on Tuesday, the 8th of September, but some are, I'm sure.
I played last night, yeah.
I'm liking the little graphic you've got going on there for the it's good there.
Thank you.
Graphic.
You designed that
graphic.
yourself?
Yeah, I've got a very good mate of mine that is doing all the graphics for us.
Oh right, okay. I was going to say it's very good. I like it.
It's nice.
It's very,
Yeah.
So that we've reviewed these first two games, which is Carlisle 1, Fleetwood 3,
Yeah.
and Wimbledon 2, Charlton 1.
I mean, to be honest, Charlton are in such a mess at the moment. They don't know what's happening with their club at the moment. I feel I feel bad for them, to be honest, because they're a big club. Like Lee pointed out, like they're a big club, and the mess they're in is just absolutely shambles, to be honest. And you know what I mean? Wimbledon deserved to win because they were the much better team than them.
Yeah.
I don't really follow the leasing.com. I'm in the camp that doesn't really like that competition. I'm in the camp that it doesn't agree with that it should even be a competition that takes place in football. It's kind of one of those ones that I'm in the camp. I just don't mind about the leasing.com at all. I think that's just kind of one of those competitions that seems to be a bit of a waste of time in my book. But yeah.
Mike, I think it's been a waste of time since they fetched in the under 21 teams. When they were just League One and League Two clubs, that were perfectly fine. But when they've fetched in these under 21 clubs, it's not really been the same since, because under 21 clubs are having to play all their games away, whereas some of the clubs, say like League, for example, some of the clubs in the Premier League may be losing a bit of money from sales people coming through the turnstiles. So maybe with these games, we could get people through turnstiles, only small 100 in one block of the stand, or just one section of the stadium, split them up because of COVID, and you can get money in that way through the turnstiles rather than trying to get money in by sales of shirts and stuff like that. But with League One and League Two clubs, it worked perfectly fine. I went to one last year, Walden versus Man United on 23s, on 21s, and they actually said there, and what the Man United fans were sectioned in with virtually somewhere in the same stand as Rotherham fans.
That's what Stevenage do. Stevenage only open up one stand, and that's it. And they kind of just split it between whoever's Stevenage are playing on the day and Stevenage.
Yeah, but Rotherham did open a bit to the away end because more Man United fans who travelled than that. So there were a few in there, but then the section towards the end, and then the majority were in the away stand, which is the Mere South stand, because I've been in every single stand at Rotherham's ground now.
That's all right then.
So go and watch Rotherham a few times as you were, Mike.
Yeah, so that's cool. So with the leasing.com trophy there, I think that was part of the reason why Stevenage struggled so much last season, because they did put a lot of effort into that competition as well. And they won 3 league games, but they won more than that in the leasing.com trophy. And I think we got to quite far in that. And it kind of was a factor in why we struggled in the league campaign, I think, personally.
Yeah. So the fixtures for that Tuesday, 8th of September, AFL Trophy, or leasing.com Trophy as it's known as, is Sunderland versus Aston Villa under 21s, Morecambe versus Rochdale, Bolton versus Crewe, Port Vale versus Tranmere, Mansfield versus Man City under 21s, Lincoln versus Scunthorpe, Doncaster versus Bradford, Accrington Stanley v Leeds United under 21s, Blackpool versus Barrow, Hull City versus Leicester City under 21s, Grimsby versus Harrogate, Southend versus West Ham United under 21s, Portsmouth v Colchester, Gillingham v Crawley, Ipswich v Arsenal under 21s, MK Dons v Northampton, Bristol Rovers v Warsaw, Oxford United v Chelsea under 21s, Exeter City v Forest Green Rovers, Swindon Town v West Bromwich Albion under 21s, Newport County v Cheltenham, Plymouth Argyle versus Norwich City's under-21s. Leyton Orient v Brighton and Hove Albion under-21s. Peterborough versus Barton under-21s. No, Barton. Sorry.
Senior team. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Barton senior team, not under-21s. Cambridge United v Fulham under-21s. So a great pile of fixtures there.
Yeah, I'm just looking as well about how the last season's one actually finished as well. It finished virtually, didn't it? And Salford won it with Ibu Toure winning against Steve Seddon. Salford beating Portsmouth there in the virtual final by playing it on EA Sports FIFA.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that how they finished that game? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
it was. You check the
That is
yeah.
That is that's unbelievable, isn't it? Really.
They're actually doing the final at some point. They're trying to work out a date with Wembley Stadium in England when they can actually fit it in for the 2020 final. Some point this calendar year, maybe one international break when England's away, but maybe not this one because it's some Carabao Cup first round fixture. Well, because like Salford are still in, Salford are playing theirs this weekend, so maybe next international break they may try and fit it in if England's playing away one game, fit it in that weekend to actually play the final. The EFL is still deciding to play.
Yeah, it does say on here on this website that it was done via the EFL.com website. That says that it was done via virtually, and then it's all you can access highlights via YouTube on the EFL YouTube.
They did eventually the time it should have played, Mike, but they're going to sort out today when they can actually do it and try and work out if a few members of fans from both sets of clubs, even if it's only like say 1,000 each, can go down and watch the game.
Okay.
And do it then, they've said.
So obviously them big games in there. There's Plymouth Argyle versus Norwich. There's obviously Blackpool as well against
Barrow.
Yeah.
Who's in the group with you guys anyway? In the Blackpool group.
Accrington and Leeds, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Leeds under 23s, is it? We played Barrow actually in a pre-season friendly, and it's just they weren't that good, to be honest. Beat them, so it's another one of those. It's just another one of those cups. You just don't need it, really, do you? To be honest,
as I said before, you don't want it really.
This is probably the least of all the cups. This is the least of anybody's that got any interest in this one at all, have they really? And you got to play all these games, and they got like a league, haven't they? And it's just so odd, and I don't know.
Yeah, if you draw, you get 1 point for the draw, and then just the penalties, and then if you win the penalties, you get an extra point for winning the penalties, so you can end up with drawing and getting 2 points from the draw.
It doesn't make any sense. Literally, just scrap the whole competition and get rid of it. I'm done with it already. I've had enough of it now.
Yeah. I think that's a feeling across the board, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I can think is a run out for your reserve team, isn't it, really? That's what it is, isn't it?
But then you can't even do that, really, because you have to have a certain number of players that are in the last match squad.
Or
have you?
Or that are going to feature in the next match as well.
Yeah.
So you're even fourth. That's ridiculous. It's just...
Lee, I think, is 6. Now you've got to include who's in who played in the previous game. So who played in the cup game if you play this week, coming midweek. So 6 who played against Stoke, or 6 who's going to play in your opening weekend's.
I've got to play in this fixture, yeah?
I've got to play in this fixture.
They have to be part of the squad.
Yeah, part of the
squad.
Yeah.
And we under 21 teams, they can have 2 overseas players outfield plus an overage goalkeeper in the squad, so they can have 3 overage players and 1 goalkeeper and 2 outfield players. So like Adam Forshaw coming back from injury at Leeds, maybe Kiko Kasir could feature in the Leeds team against Accrington in that game, just to build up match fitness, because the reserve under 23s or reserves fixtures season will kick off till 12th of September, so they could play in that till they get fitness built up.
Right.
till they're back in for first team action. So could see like Adam Forshaw coming down to Bloomfield Road and playing for Leeds in that game when we play. I think it's November. I think it's either November or October when we play Blackpool. I can't remember what date that is now. But I better find out in a minute.
Yeah, fair
Right.
enough. I'm just looking here as well with the Stevenage fixtures in that we have Southampton under 21s. You know, they've got quite a good academy. Have produced a lot of good players over the years. Theo Walcott, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Gareth Bale, loads of others as well. And then we've got Northampton in there and MK Dons as well. So local teams in there and teams that we could beat, but I literally don't care. I don't want to go on a run in this competition and then for that to be the be all and end all where, you know, we get far in this competition, but we struggle in the league. I'd rather focus on the league this year.
Anyone
What about what about Plymouth Ames? What do you think Plymouth Ames are going to be?
What I think the aim will be is to get from I mean, it's our first season back in League One after a short break away from it in League Two last season. Our aim is probably to stay in the division. We've now signed 7 players now. So
yeah, that one that you signed today, the George Cooper deal, that's a fantastic signing as well.
We'll go into that in just a short period of time. But signing 7 players is great for the club, and especially when we signed 2 players that have played for the club last season. I mean, we signed Luke McCormick back as well, but he's going to be our second choice goalkeeper to our number 1 and young Michael Cooper. That's just going to be part of our goalkeepers.
Right, you've probably seen Cooper so far in pre-season. Has he played many games in pre-season? If so, what do you reckon to Cooper so far in a Plymouth shirt?
Well, I've only seen the 2 games of. Well, I only saw 1.5 games because the first game against Plymouth Parkway, the stream was cut off halfway through.
Yeah, it packed up, didn't it? Yeah.
And I actually, to be honest, my opinion of Michael Cooper, he is a good experience. He'll be good experienced goalkeeper soon, and people are saying that could be in future England number 1 goalkeeper, which would be amazing for us because to have him come from our youth and brought into the first team now.
I'm just going to turn a fan on here. I'm boiling. So just
one second. No worries. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So we've had Michael Cooper. So Michael Cooper will be your first choice. I mean, the first game he did well. I mean, I didn't see him. I'm sure he didn't actually start in that game, if I remember correctly. Someone will obviously correct me.
Which game was that? The game he made against Blackburn?
No, the Plymouth Argyle versus Plymouth Parkway.
Ooh, it's getting hot here.
It was Luke McCormick that was in goal first. But I did get to see the Forest Green game where he played really well because Luke McCormick was out injured. He's set to be out for a while as well. And we had our second-year apprentice, Tyler Coombs, on the bench against Forest Green Rovers. I mean, Tyler didn't get on, but Michael Cooper did well. I mean, some good saves. If you want to watch that back, it's on YouTube. Plymouth Argyle versus Forest Green Rovers. There's a live commentary from myself. I mean, it's not the best.
Video on the channel as well, and obviously there was a commentary for. Did you commentate on the other game? You did, didn't you?
I did a commentary on Plymouth Argyle versus Plymouth Parkway, but it's not the best commentary because the stream cut out.
Yeah.
But you can always watch that back as well. They've also played Middlesbrough twice in pre-season. The first game they lost 1-0, which was due to a Britta Sombalonga header, and that was last Tuesday. And then last Thursday, they played 3 30-minute training games, and overall they lost 3-1.
Not too bad. Yeah.
Which, I mean, against a strong opposition, I think it's the right move. I mean, we've now brought in signings, which is good.
Yeah, I'm just having a look at the Stevenage squad as well. Obviously, I mentioned before that we've got quite a lot of new signings, a lot of transfer business that's been done. We've gone quite into non-league to bring a lot of the guys through as well. So hopefully that sets us in good stead. We have got some players on loan from higher up as well, from Birmingham, from Lincoln, from Chelsea as well. Jamie Cummin, the goalkeeper, Ben Coker, Romeo Hutton from Birmingham as well, the 3 loan signings, and Luke Prosser was signed permanently as well. And then we've gone to the sort of National League and below to get Osborne and Effiong and Marsh and Denanga and Akinwande and guys like that. So and Johnson as well, just Billy Johnson, the other goalkeeper. So it'd be quite interesting to see how the guys can step up there into the Football League.
Yeah, so
Mike. And Ray, I've just checked on the Plymouth website. He played the second half against Parkway, came on at half time for McCormick.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that because I didn't get to watch the second half because they didn't have a stream. But thank you very much for that, Russ. So we're go into a bit of transfer news now.
Yeah, go on.
We don't have obviously a scene for that because it's not going to happen every week.
Yeah.
So the first signing for the 2020-21 season started back in 10th of April when Alan Forrest signed for Livingston from Ayr on a free transfer.
Yeah.
Wow.
We had Daniel Sinani join Norwich from F91 Lang on the 10th of April as well. Then we had Pape Guy signed for Watford from Le Havre.
Mm-hmm.
We had Ionas.
How do you think, just rather than just going through all of these transfers as well, how do you think sort of these main teams that we've got on here, how do you think they've strengthened? So, let's go to, first of all, let's go on to Blackpool. How do you think you've strengthened, and what do you think you've done in the transfer market? What do you make of the business you've done?
Started very early. Blackpool fans are kind of used to, with the Oysters, it was always people on loan or, free out of contract. But we seem to have picked up some really decent, exciting players. We're all very excited at Blackpool. We've signed another lad yesterday from Crawley, a striker from Crawley. So we've already mentioned Jerry Yates, CJ Hamilton. We signed another guy from Swindon Town. Swindon don't like us because we keep
nicking all their players.
Players that they're after as well. So we're very happy at the moment down at Blackpool. We're thinking it's we're thinking it's looking very good. There's a lot gone out though. They shipped a lot out because last season it was in between the sort of the new owner and coming in, and they had this interim board who were brought in to like look after the club while they dealt with all the Oyston problems and everything. And they just seem to be signing really shotgun, policy, and we've got rid of quite a lot of them. We've got rid of Joe Nuttall, thankfully, on loan to Northampton. We're all over the moon about that, and they're not happy.
Didn't think he was that great.
Hopeless, honestly. He was terrible. He was not good for your mental health, was Joe Nuttall, to be honest. So
all right.
Although he did score 2 against Ipswich, so Ipswich should be pleased because he scored home and away against Ipswich. So the only 2 goals I think he got in the league was both against Ipswich. So they'll be pleased he's gone.
Just looking at your squad as well, you've got some good players in there, actually. Chris Maxwell, the keeper, Michael Nottingham, Gary
Yeah.
Medine, of course, quality striker.
Goal machine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not looked all that good though, Medine, to be honest. He's not really set the world on fire. I think he's just scored, I think he scored 1 or 2, maybe just 1 goal. He scored a goal at Oxford, which he looked absolutely world class, and then he's never done anything since. We've lost Nangelay, who was
Nangelay was part of Stevenage. I'm a Nangelay, yeah.
Yeah, he's a good player actually, but he was a bit of a mixed. He was mixed for a lot of people. Happy to see him go. Really, he was a bit lazy at times, but he was top scorer. He was dangerous, big striker. Just tried a Panenka at Reading, which cost us.
Yeah,
get a penalty.
I remember. Yeah.
That was a stupid thing he did. But apart from that, no, I liked him. We lost Spearing. Spearing's gone. We've lost a lot of experienced players, really. But no, we're pretty happy down there.
Guys, yeah.
I remember Armand Nangelay because the first time I ever seen him play it was actually for Stevenage against Exeter, and
all right.
And I was obviously talking to Mike during the game. And I was like, "He's nothing. He's nothing. He's absolutely dog."
Really,
and then I think it was the last 5-10 minutes he actually did something, and I'm still
or get assist or something. Yeah.
I still said he was absolutely dog. And I was just like, okay, maybe he hasn't found his feet, or he's trying, obviously, loan spell to Stevenage, but obviously he's moved on to better things now.
He's gone to Turkey, I do. He's gone to Turkey.
How has he gone to
a bit weird, isn't it? Yeah.
That's strange. All right.
I don't know why he's gone there, really. It's a bit,
just
a bit
try it out, I guess. Hopefully it will work out for him. Let's move on.
Or maybe it might have been a bit because of money issues, Mike. He might have been offered more money or
maybe.
We signed a big defender, Marvin Ekpiteta from.
Yes, I remember him. Wasn't he? Was he a QPR youth youngster?
He might have been. We got him from. Where did we get him from? Can't remember where we got him from. Some London club. Leyton Orient came from.
Oh yeah,
Leyton Orient. They were sorry to see him go. He looks okay. He's sometimes been a bit guilty of a few things, but apart from that, he's looked all right.
Oxford youngster. There we go. I got it wrong.
Yeah. Who else have we signed? Just trying to think. We have signed quite a lot. We've done early business, which is very unusual for Blackpool. We don't normally assemble a squad. In fact, I remember going to one pre-season a few years ago where Sky were there, and the entire list on a piece of paper of the squad, every single one was a try list all the way down, 11 try lists. And there was a guy sat a few rows in front of me, and he kept shouting out, "Go on, try list!" all the time, because we didn't know who anybody was. The Sky couldn't tell you who they were. It was unbelievable. 11 try lists.
Connor Coulthard on trial with us here at Stevenage, and he scored against West Ham, and everyone's like, "This try list," and it's all across Sky Sports News, and then Connor puts it out that it's him, and he signs the next day or two after.
Oh right, okay. But it was quite comical though, to see this, to see this team just with all trialists. So, but we've done good business. We're pretty happy. Blackpool.
And that's very much like Stevenage as well. Stevenage have got a lot of the business done early. Probably most of the squad's in now and ready. And they played that game against Portsmouth as well, and they look like they're settling in and gelling quite quickly, which is good to see. I'm quite excited to see some of these guys. Elliot Osborne, I think, could be a big plus. It's good to keep Luther Wilden. Great to keep Danny Newton as well. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. It's good to see him sign a new contract. Although we do have about 7 strikers now, with him and Effiong and Marsh and everybody else that's up there that plays up front. List as well, Elliot List. But no, it's good to keep Scott Cuthbert as well. He signed a new contract, the captain. Romain Vince, that was another one. Good signing as well. Luke Prosser. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this season. And as I said before, hopefully we're challenging at the right end of the league and not fighting relegation again.
And Sean,
does anybody know about this Bez Lubala? Have you heard of him? Bez Lubala was signing from Crawley Town, is it?
No. I
The
don't know.
left winger. No, he came in yesterday. I don't know anything about him, but wondering if anybody played against him.
No, I don't know.
Lee, I know best person to ask about whom I know about him. Benjamin Bloom, he might be able to tell you a bit about
Oh,
what
he'll know
sort
her.
of player he is.
He knows everyone, doesn't he? He just
He
knows
does,
every.
yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter what you come up with. He knows where they've transferred from, where they played in 3 years ago, what youth academy they came from. It's unbelievable. I've never known anybody with so much football knowledge in my life. You know what I mean? I tend to. I was saying to you before that I tend to concentrate more on Blackpool, not about everybody else. But Benjamin Bloom just knows. He's unbelievable. He really is unbelievable. His knowledge is incredible.
And hopefully we'll be getting him on as well next week. Yeah.
All right, okay. Well, he's knowledgeable. He knows his stuff,
which is a good thing. Obviously, now to you, Sean, on Arsenal.
I mean, we signed a couple of youngsters, like the one from Tottenham, so he knows North London's red already. You know what I mean?
Got two guys, Arsenal got two guys. Yeah.
We also signed. Is it George Lewis? Is it George Lewis or whatever he's called? Another youngster.
Yeah.
I wasn't too happy with Williams signing, but as I looked at it, I thought, do you know what? It could be an absolute good player for us because, Williams a good player, and then we just signed one of the Gabriel. You know what I mean? Like loads of European clubs were after him, like Napoli, Everton were having the deal done. Man United had the deal done, and he chose to play for Arsenal, really, and we showed him the way. And I'm thank God he signed because it's but we still need to get rid of a lot of dead wood. Really, I've heard Rob Holding's going to Newcastle on loan, so I don't know how true that is at the moment. And we just released Mkhitaryan to go to Roma on a permanent, so that's pretty good for us. We've done that. But the best bit of transfer news that we could do is if Aubameyang signs, that would be the best for Arsenal fans, I think.
Would be great.
That'd be a really good signing if Aubameyang can sign on and get the contract over the line. That'd be a great one, yeah. So let's move on to Russ as well to talk about Leeds a little bit. Where do you think Leeds have strengthened, and how do you see, the guys settling in there? We've been in the Premier League now.
Yes, from what we've signed 9 players already, Mike, this summer. 4 of those are in for the under-23s, and 3 of them played for the under-23s against Wolves in a pre-season match yesterday. 3 of the players was already at the club last season in Harrison, Meslier and Costa, who sort of fitted in and know how Bielsa wants to play going forward. As you know, Mike, we've signed Sam Greenwood from Arsenal.
Yeah, good signing.
Very good signing.
Yeah.
He played yesterday alongside Joe Gellard for Wigan for the under-23s, and I believe he set up Joe Gellard for Leeds' only goal in that game in a 2-1 defeat against the Molineux outfit. I think it was a Wolves' training ground yesterday afternoon, after the majority of the first team out on international duty, with Rodrigo, our biggest signing and our club record transfer signing since we'd signed Rio Ferdinand from West Ham. We signed Rio for 18 million, and we've spent 27 million on Rodrigo from Valencia, who back in January was linked with Atletico Madrid for £40 million, and we signed him for 27 million plus 3 million in add-ons, rising up to 30 million. We've also got Robin Koch, the Freiburg central defender, German international, who's expected to play against Spain tomorrow as part of a back 3 in the Nations League. And we've strengthened there. We're going for 13 million, which is half of the price that we were being quoted for Ben White, who had a very good loan season with Leeds last year. So we've strengthened there. Cody Drama's a right back from Fulham. Strengthened there. We've signed a 16-year-old from Linfield in Charlie Allen for the under-23s and under-18s. And some of these players, the likes of Greenwood, Gellard, Drame, who's come in, they're signing for the under-23s with a view to playing in the Leasing.com trophy, Carabao Cup trophy for the first team. and
Okay,
maybe
all right.
eventually playing some Premier League games should there be any injuries. And Gellard from Warsaw
Yeah,
last
if
season
they
for
show
Wigan.
their work and that they're good enough, yeah.
Yeah, from what I saw Gellard last season for Wigan, he has got the capabilities of playing in the top flight football. He can put ball back to goal, have knows awareness of where the defenders are, and turning guys striking. And some of the strikes, if he turns as if he's going to shoot to far post, he bends it back into the near post and confuses keepers quite a bit. So we've strengthened quite well there. And so 3 players were already at the club last season. And at the moment, we've not let anybody leave yet. And Bielsa likes the small squad, so I would expect the next few coming days some of his under 23 players may go out on loan and possibly to Huddersfield Town to link up with Carlos Corberán, who they worked with and under last season of the under 23s and worked very well with.
All right, let's go on to you, Rye, as well. You talk about Plymouth and signings that Plymouth have made. We spoke about obviously the main one, George Cooper, getting done earlier, but some of the other ones that have been brought in as well.
So Luke McCormick signed 28th of July. He was the first signing we brought in, and that was on a free transfer after his 2-year spell with Swindon. And then 3rd of August, we brought in Frank Noble from Colchester after his spell, ended at Colchester. Then on the 7th of August, we brought in Panucci Kamara, who we set to pay a bit of compensation for because he's under 23 from Crawley.
Mm-hmm.
We've signed a very good centre mid in Lewis McLeod from Wigan.
Yeah, he is very good. Yeah.
After that bit of turmoil, now he's going to obviously be playing against them. But the biggest transfer of this season has come today, 2nd of September 2020. George Cooper signed from Peterborough United for an undisclosed fee, which is set to be within the region of 400,000 on a 3-year deal. I woke up to the news of this today and I was just like, this is amazing. He was my favourite player last season. I've rated him really well. He's Mr. Versatile. He can play left wing back, right wing back. He'll play centre mid, attacking midfield. He'd play in behind the striker. So he's a great one. And then we brought in 2 loans. The first one is from Lee's Blackpool in Ryan Hardy.
Yes.
Who I very rate highly after.
We do. we can't understand why we keep loaning him out.
You've had him in your squad, yeah.
That's just what we need. It looks just what we need.
After he scored so many goals after playing for Argyle last season, coming off the bench because he had to try and get in the team, and the only way he was going to get in the team was coming off the bench because we were winning games. And then in the end, we played him. He didn't do well, but he got an assist. And now there was a game last season where he tried to claim a goal that was between him and Luke Jeffcott, who obviously Luke Jeffcott is now going to be, well, hopefully gets capped by Wales under 21s on this coming weekend. So obviously that happened, and we brought in young Kelland Watts.
Yeah, really good player. I saw Kelland play when he was at Stevenage, and versatile as well. He can play right back, midfield, centre back as well. He can play up front if you need him to. So he can play in a number of positions, can Kelland, and he's a really good player. He there was one game, I think it might have been Checkatrade, if I remember rightly. We had that back four, and the 2 centre backs were 19 and 20, and it was Louis Fernandez and Kelland, and they put in a really good performance. And you can see that everyone at Newcastle values Kelland as well, and think he's going to be a really good player and a really good talent. And he definitely didn't do any harm when he was down here at Stevenage, that's for sure.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, is it the Newcastle captain, can't think who it is now, but
Jamal Lascelles. Yeah.
Jamal Lascelles rates Cullen very well, and he says that he's got a bright future ahead of him.
I think he might have even been a factor in Kellen coming to Stevenage as well, because Jamal was when he was at Nottingham Forest, he was on loan down here.
Yeah, and Cullen, I think Cullen's going to be a great player. I mean, he's probably going to feature in the first 2 games of the season because Gary Sawyer is receiving his too much ban from a 4-game ban that he got last season.
Yeah.
So Cullen's probably going to feature in them 2 games. Obviously, we got rid of a few players. Ruben Wilson's gone out on a youth loan to Plymouth Parkway. Callum McFadzean rejected a new contract. Anthony Sarcevic rejected a new contract and signed for Bolton. Ryan Taylor got released and he's also now signed for Newport County.
Yeah.
Tafari Moore, Joel Grant, all got released. Tom Purrington, the brother of Ben, got released. And hopefully they can move on into lower league football or maybe even try and push themselves onto main football.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking at some of these other main signings that have been made as well. Man United confirmed the signing of Donny van der Beek today from Ajax for 35 million, which could lead on to 40 million with add-ons as well. Really talented midfielder as Donny there as well. I think he'll do well for them. Who else is there? Chelsea, of course, is strengthening as well. They've got quite a few signings made. Ben Chilwell being one, and they're looking at getting Havertz. That one looks to be on the verge of getting done as well. And the striker Timo Werner was another one. What do you make of those deals?
I thought they were really good deals, and they've also brought in Thiago Silva as well from PSG. So that is just amazing bit of business. Now, in my opinion, I think that Chelsea are going to win the league, but obviously you got to think that the teams the players have got to gel with each other and get on with everything that's going on.
Well,
That's
if Chelsea need to be serious title contenders, they need to replace the spaghetti arms in goal.
Oh, what? What's his name?
Kepa.
Kepa Arrizabalaga.
Yeah, spaghetti arms. If they replace Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, then they'll be serious title contenders, I think.
All right. I think Lee's going to have to shoot off in a minute, so we'll hand over to Ray just because he wants to kind of wrap things up there as well. But just on my part there, best of luck for the season with Blackpool, and if we don't get you on before, then hopefully they can have a good season and get what you aim to achieve throughout the year.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you very
good luck
much
with the show and good luck with subscribers. Hopefully, if you're
mate.
watching this, anybody, make sure you subscribe to the channel. So thanks a
very
lot.
much,
Cheers.
Lee.
Cheers.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
It's been a very great pleasure to have you on.
Thank
and
you. Good
I
night.
hope to have you on again soon.
Cheers. Thanks. Bye. Bye.
Cheers. Bye, mate.
See you later, Lee.
So
Ciao, mate.
that was Lee Charles there. He's Blackpool correspondent.
Yeah, he's a very knowledgeable guy. I really like that. I like having him on. And as I said, best of luck to Blackpool this season. They've had it quite rough with the owners and stuff in the past. And, that's a club that I do want to see push up the footballing pyramid and get up there again. Because they are a really big club and a really good club as well. They haven't been run right the last few years. But at the end of the day, you want to see those teams get back up to the big time again. So hopefully they can do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, let's hope they can. And it was really nice of him to come on.
It was, and it was. And I messaged him about it and managed to get him on, which were good of me getting him on as well for us, weren't it, Ray?
Yeah, So, Mike,
Yeah,
now
go on.
talk to you about Arsenal because now Sean's had his say about Arsenal. We'll
Mhm.
have your say about Arsenal.
Okay, I think we've got some good signings. I think we're looking in good shape. I think you know the fact we've got in Saliba, we've got in Gabriel, we've got in Willian as well. They're three good players. They're three players that are buying into Mikel Arteta's mentality and his ethos, and that's right. You know, we're looking at getting some more. Danny Ceballos hopefully will be done in the next few days, but nothing's confirmed yet. So that's only rumours at the moment. With Aubameyang as well, it'd be great to keep on. Keep him on for another season or two with his record that he's in, because he's a very top draw striker, getting all the way up there to the Golden Boot and winning that jointly with the two guys from Liverpool, Mane and Salah, and then just missing out on it last season as well. So just get his signature again to be really good. And I do think that we've got to use the Community Shield and the FA Cup as kind of building blocks now, I should say, to go on and have a successful league campaign, because we're in the Europa League as well. So, there's two avenues into the Champions League there. And we just have to take one of them, whatever we can, because, yes, at the moment we're building and we're starting to, get these squads together. If we're in the Champions League, that's a lot easier.
Yeah. So they are a very good side this season. I think Arsenal are going to try and push to get back into the top 5 at least.
Yeah, I do think so, and I do think Mikel Arteta as well has done a really good job since he's come in, and that Arteta effect. I mentioned it before. We've done well against the big teams in the last few games against Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea, and we were unfortunate against Spurs as well. When we lost that day, we put on a good performance and deserved something out of that one, and kind of got robbed of getting a result there. But no, I think Arteta's got them playing, and he's got them fighting and quite hungry, and got the desire there. So I do think that they're all buying into his method, as I was saying, and hopefully that can continue on for not just this season, many seasons to come.
So we'll go over to Russ on his thoughts for Rotherham.
Yes, and Rotherham have made 6 summer signings. 1 loan in Jamal Blackman from Chelsea. Very good goalkeeper. Looks like he's going to be number 1 this season at the ASL New York Stadium. Victor Janssen joined today as well, goalkeeper from Leicester. Looks like he's going to be the second choice goalkeeper. Mikael Miller was the first one that came in from Hamilton Academicals. The striker can play out on the wing as well, free transfer for him. They signed Kieran Sadlier from Doncaster Rovers as well. He's a left winger, can also play left wing back and left back as well. Played a few times there for Doncaster. Very good signing. And they signed Wes Arden as well from Birmingham. Solid signing, can play centre back or right back. Very good signing there. And they've also signed Angus MacDonald, the former old man who had that cancer, battled back twice from the cancer. Hard to get that, and a very good signing for Paul Warne there. He said, after speaking to Paul Warne, he knew, and Richie Barker and I knew this was the club for him. Josh Coyote's gone out on loan again to Carlisle for the season this time. He was on loan there last season. One of me mates who I spoke to quite well and very regular down the training ground last season. Julian Lammy got released. He was over there for a year. He's been released. Lawrence Bilbo, young player, goalkeeper. He's been released and always spoke down on the training ground every single time. And also Jerry Yates went to Lee we had on earlier, went to his side Blackpool, and from what I've spoke to Lee about, seemed to settle in really well at Blackpool, looked positive in the friendlies of added to Rotherham. Done a very good business there. Janssen spoke very well in his interview earlier, which you can listen to on the Miller's website, free to view. Spoke to iFollow there, and he's looking forward to the season ahead, and spoke very highly of the goalkeeping coach Andy Warrington there as well. I know, like I said, I know the coaching staff and management staff down there. Going the numbered message one the other day, and they're looking. They said they can't wait for me back down the training ground. They're all missing me, and having a chat down at the training ground. So hopefully, once this virus is gone and we're back to normally we can go to watch games again. We are just being seen to Katonas and just go to training grounds to watch people train again as well, like kind of Rotherham. Be able to go back down and have a chat with all the coaching staff and hopefully chat to the new signings reporting. From what I've seen, they've been very, very good and some very solid signings for the Millers, and hopefully they can push on now. And I think with the signings they made, I don't think they'll be battling nearly relegation zone this season. I think they could have a mid-table finish in the Championship.
Yeah, so that'd be good for them, obviously, if they can push on the right end of the table and maybe even, have a late run into the playoffs or something like that. Let's get into, we spoke about Rotherham there as well. Right, what about Middlesbrough side of it?
Yeah, so Middlesbrough, first signing was 14th of July, was Cole Keenan, undisclosed fee from Sunderland. He's a youth player. He's going to be part of the under-23s, which is going to be still coached by none other than Graham Lee, who is a great coach. He's a great manager for the under-23s. He's done wonders with them.
That's right. And you spoke to Ant on the channel as well. And of course, the Lees are a fantastic, really good family, aren't they? A great family.
Yeah, I mean, I've known Ant Lee, which is Graham's older brother, on the channel. He was one of the first interviews, and he is literally the nicest bloke you'll ever meet. I mean, I went to watch Middlesbrough versus Newcastle under-23s in February, and Ant came and picked me up with his mum and his dad, and we went and watched it. We had a great chat with the likes of Graham Kavanagh. We had a good chat with Jeff Winter. Obviously, I've had a
interview with him as well. Yeah, that was a long interview with him. Yeah,
I had a good interview with Jeff. Also, the funny thing in that game was that the two managers of Middlesbrough under-23s and Newcastle United's under-23s both came from the same area in Middlesbrough called Staines, and they both went to school together and everything. It was just amazing how two teams who are 60 miles apart from each other could have against each other, but it was good that could happen.
Just looking at what about some of the signings and that squad for Middlesbrough as a whole as well, because obviously Neil Warnock is in charge as well, so that's quite a big one to was that the biggest signing to get him on and to extend him?
Well, he came in at the end of last season after Middlesbrough sacked Jonathan Woodgate, which farewell to Woodgate. He gave his all and he deserves everything he did for the club, because without him, we wouldn't be in this situation where we got Neil Warnock. But and there is rumours that Woodgate is coming back to Borough under a different role. But
okay, all right.
There's no official confirmation on that yet. There's also Neil Warnock obviously brought in Kevin Blackwell, Ronnie Yepson to work alongside Leo Percevic and Daddy Coyne last season.
Yeah.
And they came in with 10 games. They won half of the games, which, to be honest, with Neil Warnock, that is actually good going.
Yeah.
Actually, he managed 8 games, won 4, lost 4, which is 50% win ratio. He was actually the first manager to win the first game of the season, as a new manager since Brian Robson.
Yeah, see, that's really good. That's a good start there, yeah.
And Neil Warnock has now obviously made a change to one of his backroom staff, letting Danny Coyne leave, and he's brought in Ian Bennett from Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, was that the goalie? Was that the old goalkeeper that used to play at likes of Birmingham and teams like that?
Yeah, goalkeeper that played at Birmingham. So he's brought him in. We've now got Kevin Blackwell, Ronnie Yipson, Leo Percevic, and Ian Bennett as the goalkeeping coach, who's also played for Newcastle, Peterborough, Birmingham, Sheffield United, Coventry, Leeds United, Sheffield United, and Huddersfield.
Yeah, that was his career there. So he's had a good career himself as well. Yeah, so that's going to set him in good stead there to be goalkeeping coach at Middlesbrough now.
And I've just seen here, it says that Jonathan Woodgate has actually been appointed head of recruitment operations.
Okay, so he has now accepted a role back at the club, so that's good.
Hopefully that is true. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Yeah.
Let's hope that is the great thing. I mean, we've got a good backroom staff of the academy as well, with Craig Liddell, Graham Lee, the under-23 manager, Mark Tinkler, the under-18s manager, and obviously Craig Liddell being the academy manager, so he takes charge if any of them can't make it or need some moral support.
That's right. I remember Mark Tinkler as well. That's another one. He was on the books at Leeds, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was back in 91 to 97, and then went to York.
I think he played a part. Yeah, I think Mark played a part when we won the title in 91-92 season as well, in part of that squad when we won the title with like Gary Speed playing for us, and we also had Chris Kamara playing for us that season as well.
Okay, that's really good. I'm just looking at some of the other guys that you got at Middlesbrough as well, Ray. Mark Boller came through the academy at Arsenal, and he was part of Middlesbrough. And he's last season he was on loan at Blackpool for a while as well. So, what are your thoughts on him, and how do you think he's going to do now that he's come back from being at Blackpool?
Well, we signed him from Blackpool, and last season he played 7 times for us, and then we let him go out to Blackpool on loan in January. So that was actually a good move for him. And he got a bit of game experience. Obviously, COVID didn't help. And he didn't play many games. But he got game time, and he actually scored in one of their games as well. So, which for a defender isn't actually that bad. I'm sure he scored. I've just checked, Darry.
That's pretty. Yeah, that is quite good for a defender there. And going back to with Kellen Watts as well, what we said earlier. He didn't score for Stevenage, but he plays up front and stuff as well if you need him to. And he actually was a left-sided defender. I think I might have said right-sided defender at the time, but he plays left back or centre back or in midfield there as well. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then we've had Marcus Brown, who's just come back from Oxford after we signed him from West Ham. He also had a loan spell with Oxford back in 2018-19. We've kept hold of Paddy McNair, Johnny Howson, George Saville, Marvin Johnson, who's a good Mr. Versatile.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
can play left back, right back, left mid, right mid. Fanny Duxdale, who's a good right back. Didn't really get much game time because COVID as well, but he played 16 times. It's not that many times, but the biggest one, Jed Spence, I really do rate him. He came through Fulham's youth academy, and Middlesbrough brought him in, and he's been brilliant.
He's quite a regular. Well, not a regular, but he's featured a few times for the club, hasn't he?
He featured 22 times in the league, which is quite a good start to have, especially when the season got halted for 3-4 months, and then there's been injuries as well. So to be honest, he's done well for himself, and I'm glad that he was given a chance last season, especially under Warnock as well, playing him as a right mid as well, where Dexter was behind him, and it's in some of the games. So moving on to other transfer news that we've got, we've mentioned about Van der Beek.
Yeah, and some of the Chelsea ones we spoke about, a lot of them, and Arsenal and things like that.
We will mention that Lionel Messi is set to leave Barcelona.
Still looks likely that he could be leaving. It still looks likely it could be Man City as well, yeah.
Which would be a great move if he did.
Have you heard about this one, right? Aston Villa's agreed a fee with Forest for Matty Cash, 14 million rising to 16 million.
Yeah,
that was announced earlier.
It's a lot of cash there. A lot of cash they're trying to spend on him.
I was about to say that. You read my mind.
Mate, that was a bad pun on there.
And another one, Matt Doherty, the Arsenal supporting Matt Doherty.
To Spurs. Yeah.
He's actually moved to Tottenham and went on his Twitter in the live interview.
I saw that.
And deleted his tweets about Arsenal.
I saw that.
I think that was a bit of fun. Obviously, there's no.
It's not quite Sol Campbell. Sol Campbell won the double, Spurs fans. Remember that.
So, and then
still hurts to this day, doesn't it? Still hurts to this day.
Not for us, though, mate. Bittersweet.
No, I know. I'm on about them.
Richie Eze signed for Crystal Palace for 19.5 million from QPR.
Yeah.
We've had Malang Sarr signed for Chelsea as well from Nice.
Yeah, see, Chelsea have got quite a lot of new signings as well. Just having a look at their squad as well. I just want to see because I know
they've also put him out on loan as well.
Oh, did they? They signed him.
Yeah.
Out. Yeah.
Yeah, they signed him and put him out on loan. I don't know which club he went to.
He hasn't gone out on loan yet. As of yet,
the club's yet to be decided on where he's going out on loan. But they've said he's definitely going out on loan. Everton tonight have agreed a deal with Watford to sign Abdullah Decore.
See, that's a good signing for them. Really
25 million. And they're also signing James Rodriguez from Real Madrid in Brazilian midfielder Alan as well. James Rodriguez and Alan are currently having the medicals at Everton. Been having the medicals today. With Decore having his medical tomorrow.
Fair enough. And another one from Chelsea we didn't mention as well when we spoke before was Hakim Ziyech as well signing there.
Oh, Ziyech. How can we forget about Ziyech?
The pre-contract agreement that was back in January.
Yeah.
Good signing that is, to be fair. Really
I do think they're going across and getting some really good business done, Chelsea, with Ziyech and with
Werner as well.
Yeah, Werner and all of those, Thiago Silva and
Chilwell as well.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
And if they do manage to bring in Kai Havertz as well, I think they're going to be a strong force.
Yeah.
Well, Bayer Leverkusen boss.
They have a big squad though.
Yeah, Bayer Leverkusen boss has said you don't expect Kai Havertz back from Germany after this international break. He expects him to sign a deal with Chelsea and agree terms with Chelsea while he's on this international break, because the fee is very, very close between the two clubs apparently for Kai Havertz now.
There's been a big one as well. Jordan Hugo signed for Norwich from West Ham for 5 million.
Yeah, he's quite an up and coming younger player, isn't he? Yeah.
Well,
to be fair, West Ham have got a lot of strikers. They used to have Carlton Cole there at one point, and Marlon Harewood as well. You know what I mean? So they had a lot of strikers.
I'm not talking about the 1990s, mate, but yeah.
I know, but still.
And then Remy Matthews, former Argyle loanee, signed for Sunderland on a free transfer from Bolton.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a Lucas Nemecha, who was on loan at Borough, he's now gone out on loan to Anderlecht.
Yeah, see, that's quite an interesting move. Yeah.
Aaron Ramsdale, who was at Sheffield United in his youth, has actually signed back for Sheffield United from Bournemouth for 18.5 million. Joe Hart signing for Tottenham.
Yeah, see, that's a weird signing. He nearly came to Arsenal with the injury there when Leno got an injury. Now he's gone and signed for Spurs. So good luck with him. We've got Martinez, who's about 15 million times better. But there you go. And younger as well.
And David Silva left Man City for Real Sociedad.
Yeah, and he's got a positive test for coronavirus, hasn't he? So hopefully he gets well soon.
Yeah.
And hopefully Neymar gets well soon. He's one of the 3 PSG players who's tested positive today for coronavirus as well. PSG put out that they've had 3 players and Neymar's confirmed that he's one of them.
There's been a signing as well for Stevenage as well. Jay coming in from Chelsea on loan.
Yeah, the keeper. Yeah, Jamie coming. Yeah, so we've had a few there that I've spoken about already. But yeah, Jamie looks all right. Jamie looks all right the other day. He put in a couple of good saves. Yeah.
Taifa Chong has left Man U to go to Werder Bremen on loan. Tyler Blackett signed for Nottingham Forest. Lyle Taylor signed for Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, see, that's from Charlton. And at the end of the day, he was saying that he wanted to leave the club anyway, which is why he refused to play for them, wasn't it, in the final few games of their campaign and things like that.
Was, yeah. And Højbjerg for Tottenham from Southampton, that's a very, very good signing for Tottenham. That is, can play defensive midfield or a bit further forward. So they've strengthened that to help Harry Winks in there.
It's a bit shame that their team can't win trophies, though, can it?
I know, man. It is a shame that, but you know, you're signing some good players who could potentially help them push towards that direction. But hopefully, not before Arsenal get another trophy.
Jan Vertonghen left Tottenham at the end of his deal and signed for Benfica.
Yeah, I noticed that one is that was quite a good move for him. I know he had a few good seasons at Spurs just the last couple of years back, and it'd be interesting to see if he can do it out there now.
Former right back of Plymouth, Kelvin Miller, who was at Bradford last season, signed for Morecambe.
Yeah,
He's now going to be linked up with Derek Adams again. Kiefer Moore left Wigan for Cardiff for $2 million.
Good signing that for Cardiff. Actually played well at Rotherham.
Yeah, he had a good time at Rotherham, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do very well at Barnsley in the Championship, but he didn't really get many games there. And he didn't really get much time at Ipswich, but Rotherham he had a very good spell. And then he had a good spell with Wigan as well, so hopefully he can now kick on at Cardiff. And he's linking up with his former Rotherham teammate there in Will Vokes, who's been doing brilliant for Cardiff since he went there as well. And
he actually also had a good loan spell at Torquay United as well, Kiefer Moore.
Yeah, he did.
Kyle Walker-Peters is signed for Southampton, which was the straight swap with Højbjerg.
And a fee. I think there was a fee involved in that as well.
Yeah, there is a fee. It says undisclosed.
Yeah.
We've had Jack Colback signed for Nottingham Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Richie Smallwood, the ex-Borough player, signed for Hull from Blackburn.
Good signing that, I reckon, Ray. Don't you, Ray?
I think
good signing for Good signing for all that. I think he'll help him get towards the playoffs at least, and maybe bounce straight back into the Championship. Did well for Rotherham in that division when he played for Rotherham and done well in Championship for Rotherham. So a very shrewd acquisition there from Graham McCann.
Yeah, I think so as well. I was looking at some of the other transfer, stuff on here as well. You mentioned about Rodriguez already. Messi's father is set to meet with the Barcelona chief because obviously he does want the move there. But Barcelona are still saying that the Liga are still saying that the fee is the release clause is still in place as well. So they're just going to sort things out over that and talk about that and try and get to a conclusion there. And
Yeah,
Gareth
met
Bale
today,
said-
Mike.
Yeah, well,
Met today, the father of Messi.
okay. And Gareth Bale was open to returning to the Premier League as well, but I didn't know what club or whatever yet.
He said
Well,
Real
and-
Madrid's blocked his moving pass because he was due to come back to the Premier League last summer, and just as about to happen, Real Madrid put a block to his move back to the Premier League.
And another move is Nathan Ake signing for Man City.
Yeah, it's another really good signing as well. Yeah.
Ferran Torres signing for Man City. Kemar Roof, who had a little spell with Leeds. He was at Anderlecht last season and he signed for Rangers. Arsenal signed permanently Cedric Soares.
Yeah, and Pablo Marie as well. Yeah.
Ryan Edwards, the former Argyle defender, signed for Dundee United. And let's see if there's any other big ones. Ian Henderson had a very good career at Rochdale, signed for Salford. Which
Yeah.
is,
What about Sheffield United? Obviously, Dean Henderson's gone back to Man U, and they've replaced him with who's the keeper that they've brought in over at Sheffield
Ramsdale.
United? Ramsdale. Yeah.
oh, yeah.
To be a good
And they've
signing
also
as well.
signed Foderingham as well, Mike.
Yeah.
Wes Foderingham, who used to be a Rangers, have fetched him in as well,
Mm-hmm.
which I think will be a good signing.
Dejan Lovren signed for Zenit St. Petersburg at the start of the official window.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some crazy signings.
Exactly, and the transfer window would have closed by now originally as well, but we've still got about another month or so yet, so we'll still be talking about these probably this time next month and on to a bit further as well in 6-7 weeks' time.
The transfer window finishes on the 5th of October, but you can do domestic transfers until the 16th of October.
Yeah, it's overseas 11 o'clock on the 5th, and then domestic ones where just EFL clubs can sign from the Premier League or Premier League sign from the EFL until the 5th on the 16th of October. So that's the two deadline dates and times for the this summer's transfer window, then the reopening again in January as usual, I think.
All right, fair enough.
So-
have we got any more segments to talk about, or because we cover quite a lot of transfer business? We've done the Neeson Trophy and the Carabao Cup. Is there anything else that needs covering ready tonight, or are we going to start to wrap it up in a minute?
We'll probably start to wrap it up as well. So I'm going to ask for Carabao Cup prediction of who's going to win it.
Okay, I'm going to write it down. I'm going to write it down here, and you ain't going to see it until he's won it.
No.
I'm going to rest on my computer and I'm not going to show you until the final as well. And on the final, I'll let you know if my team I've put down is in the
You
final
ain't
or
going to
not.
see it, right? But there you go. It says Carabao Cup there somewhere. But anyway, yeah, I will write down who wins it. There we go.
I would like everyone to say it live, and then we'll go back on the final Carabao Cup final, and we'll go back and watch it and see if any of you have got it right.
All right.
So, Mike, who are your Carabao Cup winners?
Right, Brad Hicks, you're in the chat there. You're going to be pleased with me. I've gone Leicester City, mate.
Russ Vernon, who are your Carabao Cup winners?
Manchester City, I think they'll focus more on the Carabao Cup this season and trying to win the Premier League back, and also probably focus on the Champions League as well. But I say Man City for the Carabao Cup this season.
And Sean, who are your Carabao Cup winners?
Well, obviously, I have to back my own team to win it. I think we could, I think we could cause a bit of a shock and go all the way.
All right, so you think we might win the Carabao next season, okay?
Now,
What about you,
What about-
Ray?
Yeah, what about your side, Ryan? What are you thinking? Middlesbrough?
Plymouth?
I can't back any of them. I mean, Middlesbrough did win it 16 years ago, and I
Yeah.
was there.
Uh-huh.
I honestly can say I think it's going to be Chelsea.
Okay.
So, if anyone else is,
Another side as well, Everton as well. Another side who could be up there and maybe do it. Yeah.
so I think it'll be Chelsea that'll win it for me.
16 years of read the private chat. 16 years of
Stop
her.
living in the past.
Living in the past. It's a bit like you, Russ, and it with Leeds' promotions.
Yeah, took us 16 years to get back there. Hopefully, with the signings that we made, hopefully we can stay there this time and not go straight back down after 16 years. And I
No,
think we
or
possibly could.
more than likely, you'll probably end up going back down, finishing bottom of the league, and getting the record for being the lowest points tally. But there we go.
But on that note, we are going to finish this ahead of schedule.
Yeah, of course. Normally we'll be covering a lot more as well, and we've covered it a little bit random today. It's the first one we've done, so we've got things to iron out and stuff as well. But no, it's been a good one. It's been great to speak to, of course, Sean as well. So thanks for coming in and being a part of this today, Sean. Yeah, hopefully I can see you down at the Emirates at some point.
And thank you very much.
Hopefully, Mike. Hopefully.
And thank you very much to Russ for joining. We've had Lee Charles on. We've had Brad Hicks in the private chat. We've had Nicole that's been around. We've had Brad Hardware, the great graphic designer.
Yeah, Josh Grattain as well. Peter Cannon, your mum, James.
Jade Rickard as well.
Yeah.
And we can't forget Nicole. She does all the behind the scenes work.
Great work, Nick.
You do amazing work, and we'll thank everyone for joining us tonight.
Yeah, and then we'll be back next Wednesday as well. We'll be coming back every Wednesday at 8. So hopefully you can join us again. And as was mentioned earlier, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow everything like that.
Facebook and Twitter, RS Media 89, and the podcast Twitter, which is RS Media _podcast. This is actually going to be going out onto Anchor, and it's going out on Mixcloud as well. So if you want the links to them, look at RS Media's Facebook page or RS Media's podcast page, and we'll have that sorted for you.
Yeah, and of course with RS Media
as well.
Just going to say with RS Media as well. You spoke to Frank Woodrow, another one. You got anyone else lined up for interviewing in the near future?
The only one that I'm going to be looking at interviewing now is Barry Hales. I'm taking a bit of a time away from interviewing to concentrate on doing my commentaries and doing these live podcasts.
Yeah, fair point. All right.
So my commentaries will be coming up. I think we've got one lined up for the 11th of September, which is Middlesbrough v Watford.
Yeah, you and Josh making his debut, yeah.
And then I think I might do one on the 12th when it's Argo versus Blackpool.
All right.
Because I'll have the live stream for that because I'm a season ticket holder. So I get to watch that because it's at home as well.
It's going to be very busy in the next few weeks as well with the return of the Premier League and everything else. Of course, we're going to be linked in to JB Claret as well. So although we're not doing streams this weekend, do go and check that one out for the England game this coming weekend and next Tuesday as well. Go and check out JB Claret on YouTube, and he's going to be doing some great commentary there of those two games.
Yeah, and if you don't see us live, we might have a coverage of it. It's in the pipeline, but we would like to have coverage of the commentary of games. And if JB does come on, it'll be me, Mike, and JB with the commentary. JB taking the lead role there. and Mike being the co-commentator, and I'm just being the one that looks out for everything that goes on beyond.
Right, you'll probably be the VAR man if there's any Premier League games. You'll be the VAR man for the channel.
So just to access that as well, go to JB Claret on YouTube, type that, and it will come up. JB Sports as well. That's the main channel. Is it JB Sports? Is that what it's called these days?
Yeah, it's now called JB Sports these days, Max. He's rebranded it to JB Sports now, and he's been doing some virtual Carabao Cup, AFL Cup games. And also check out another great YouTuber in Trevor Sports as well. He's done the virtual Euros.
Yeah.
Which should happen this summer, which myself and JB was involved in. And another one you may have heard of, Mike, Chris Wyman, CW, on JB's channel. He was involved in that channel as well. So make sure you check JB Sports and Trevor Sports out on YouTube. For JB Sports is the virtual home. And JB Sports is the audio form, and Trevor Sports is the virtual form for your footballing fix this season. And you'll hear my voice on there is, and on Trevor Sports, I'm going to be Trevor Gubber, and JB is Trevor Motson.
All right, sounds good. We've got a lot of competitions lined up for ourselves as well, haven't we? Right throughout the season, we'll be doing God knows how many. We'll be doing a lot. Yeah,
we'll have a few. While we're on this talking point, Mike does SFC interviews with former Stevenage players as well. So
yeah, I've spoken to 31 of them now, was it right?
Yeah.
That's a lot of players. That's a lot of players.
31 ex-players. 32 tomorrow. I'm going to be speaking to Sam Sodji, one of the Sodji trio. Effie Sodji is going to come on probably in the next week or two as well. We've got loads more lined up. So Carl Alford next week as well, club legend, and we spoke to lots of players across different areas of the club. So yeah, 31 so far. It's still going strong, and I'm enjoying them. So we had 2 today. I've done 2 this afternoon, and it's been a busy day. It's been it's been a good day and a busy day for me today. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike. Sam's a good interviewer. Actually, I've interviewed him when Leeds were playing West Brom on the Friday night. I interviewed him earlier on that same day ahead of that game and about his time at Leeds. And a very good interviewer, Sam. So you'll enjoy that one, mate.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I've enjoyed them all really. All 31. So 30 out of 31 if I'm blatantly honest, but I'm not going to say which one I didn't enjoy as much.
Mike, you can say off air. If you want to off air.
So thank you very much for Mike, Sean, Russ, Brad Hicks, Brad Hardware, Nicole Vesey, Lee Charles, Jade Rickard. We've had James Costley, my mum Kerry. We've had Peter Cannon, my ex-Libra, all joining us. So thank you very much and good night.
Good night, guys. Bye, guys.